Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be showing you how to make every Star Wars Battlefront weapon in Lego. And by making it in Lego I mean no custom pieces, no cutting up Lego pieces, just stock normal Lego pieces, and we're going to make every single weapon and every single gadget, not any of the star cards except for the Stinger pistol because, well, yeah. Anyway, I'll be showing you how to make it real quick, and then I'll show you how it looks on a minifigure. Tomorrow I'll be making a video with the lore and history and stuff behind every blaster, so keep an eye out for that. I'll have it linked up in the top right hand corner after I have published it. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Oh, one more thing actually, some pieces already exist, some weapons, so then we're just going to use the stock weapons. But for most of them, there's going to be some attachments to make them look more like the weapons in the game. Anyway, let's get started. We start off with the A280C blaster rifle. This one's very simple. Lego already has the perfect piece, just the normal Lego blaster rifle. Just give it to a minifigure like this Rebel here, and you are done. Next we have the CA87 shock rifle. For this one, just use a like a clone blaster pistol and a little tube, and you attach them together. It would have been better if the blaster was in brown, but those don't exist. None of the blasters are in brown. Here it is on the Rebel minifigure again. Now on to the DH17 blaster pistol. This, just use a normal blaster pistol and attach a little peg with a stud at the end, and here it is on a Rebel pilot minifigure. Next we have Han Solo's blaster, DL44 blaster pistol, and since the Lego blaster pistol is based on this, we're just going to use the stock one, and here it is again on the Rebel pilot. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit more complicated with the DLT19 heavy blaster. Here, that piece there in the corner that you can't really see is one of those square pieces with double studs on the side, and you also need all of those pieces, and then you assemble it like so. And here it is on my little stormtrooper that Lego sent me. Now on to the E11 blaster rifle. Again, Lego based its base blaster rifle on this rifle, so this is pretty much perfect, and here it is again on the stormtrooper. Now we move on to the E3 blaster rifle, and here you need all these pieces. Now the stock is a little hard to attach, but you have to just attach it to the very bottom and then leave enough space that a minifigure's hand can go above. Another heavy machine gun with the RT97C heavy blaster. For this you need a Tommy gun and all these other pieces, and then just assemble it like so with a little scope on top, and here you can see it on my little stormtrooper. Moving on to the SE14C blaster pistol. Now I did this one in grey because I don't have black binoculars. Actually I probably do, but I couldn't find them at such short notice. Just attach the binoculars to the end to get the feel of the scope moved backwards, and here it is on an Imperial officer. Next we have the T21 heavy blaster, and this one I did in partial light gray because the peg doesn't exist in dark gray, although you could also do it in full black if you wish to do that, but it's kind of grayish in game, so I chose for the light gray color scheme. Now on to probably the hardest one to get right, because I couldn't get that scope on the front. You're going to need all these pieces, including the little tap. That's going to be the semi-makeshift scope. As you see, it isn't quite perfect, but it looks quite similar to the rifle and gives the same impression. Here it is on a Rebel. Time for a sniper. Here we have the DLT19X targeting rifle. This is just a normal blaster rifle and then a lightsaber on the end to make it a little bit bigger and look more like a sniper rifle. And here is my trusted little stormtrooper wielding it. Now we have the DL18 blaster pistol. The front was sort of hard to get, and I attached binoculars to the front, but you got kind of it's sort of oversized, but it has the same shape, sort of. Here's the Rebel pilot wielding it. Next we have the DL12 blaster pistol, which was used by Greedo in New Hope, and I just used the normal clone blaster since it's the smallest blaster, and here we have a Rhodian Rebel using it because it's Greedo's blaster. We move on to the EE4, which is the successor of the EE3, and for this you're going to need a normal blaster, and you have to push the little magazine thing all the way back so that the cone on the front fits nicely. We move on to the TL50 heavy blaster. As you can see, the barrel sort of shifted up, so you're going to need all these pieces here, and then you can like flip the things and you kind of get the barrel shifted up. I actually kind of like this design. We have the K16 blaster pistol, also known as the Briar pistol, and LEGO has the perfect piece for this. This is the double barreled pistol piece, and as you can see, the Rebel can wield it very nicely. We move on to some Rogue One weapons with the A180 blaster pistol, which was used by Jyn Erso. You just need a lightsaber and a grey clone pistol. You attach the lightsaber to the front to extend the pistol a little longer for the long barrel feel. And here is my custom Jyn Erso using the pistol. Move on to the DT29 blast pistol, which was used by Director Krennic. For this I just used a small clone blaster, but then in grey, and here you can see the Imperial officer using the weapon. And we finish off the non-card weapons with the CJ9 bow rifle. You're going to need quite a few pieces to make this, and it ends up looking sort of bulky, but it has the same like design, and if I made it any longer it would have been very big. It's already quite big, as you can see on this Rebel here. Moving on to cards and gadgets, we start of course with the thermal detonator, which, well, there's a perfect Lego piece. This printing is actually very nice, and here you can see Mr. Stormtrooper carrying his thermal detonator. Then our first card weapon, which is a scout pistol, and I used the exact same design here as for the Greedo pistol because I honestly didn't know what else I'd do. It's a really tiny pistol, so I couldn't make it too big or bulky. Here's the Imperial officer using it. Next we have the ion torpedo. Now this isn't an actual equipable weapon or anything, but it's still a card, so I decided to include it. Now I made the cone and the stud silver. That looks better, but you can also do it in light gray. We continue on to the ion neuralizer. This is once again a weapon, so we built it with a bunch of pieces. Now the stock isn't great, but it does resemble the weapon quite closely. And here you see the Imperial officer wielding it. Continuing the trend of weapons, we have the pulse cannon, which is sort of a semi-sniper rifle, so we just use the blaster rifle and we attach this peg onto the front to make it seem a bit more bulky and high-powered. And here you can see the Rebel wielding it. It's pretty well sized actually. Back to the grenades, we have the impact grenade. And this I made with 2 silver studs, and very simply you just stack them together and then you get like a little sort of a cylindrical shape with some edges on the side which resembles the grenade. Onto the ion grenade, as you can see it's grey and then black in the center, so I just used 2 dark gray pieces and a black piece in the center, and then you get a nice cylindrical shaped grenade in 2 colors, and here you can see the Stormtrooper equipping it. Next we have the homing shot, and you can't actually see the whole weapon on the card, but you can in game, so I just kind of improvised with some game footage and all of that. And this is what its final product looks like, and it's actually pretty close and it looks very nice on this Stormtrooper. Next we have the jump pack, and what's very nice is that we got a new jetpack mold, and that fits this perfectly. It also came in some Battlefront sets. I would suggest to also make a little stack of clear studs, and you can attach that to the bottom of your minifigure and then put him floating above the ground. Onto the smoke grenade, which honestly looks a lot like a landmine, and this I basically did by using a stud and then like a bigger circular piece, and then just putting the silver stud in the center to represent the silver button that seems to be in the center. Here you can see the Imperial officer having it equipped. Here we have the flash grenade, and at the bottom it's slightly darker than at the top, so I used a dark stud for the bottom and a silver stud for the top, and then since it has like the yellow lines on the side, I used a yellow stud for the middle. And here you can see the stormtrooper about to flashbang someone. Another non-equipable gadget, the barrage. And since I only had one gold piece, I only made one, but you need a dark gray stud, a black stud, and a gold stud, and you just stack them on top of each other. And as you can see, here's the rebel with a barrage next to him. Back to card weapons, we have the cycler rifle, and on the side you can sort of see like a blackish scope, so I wanted to include that as well. I used this piece from, I think, like a dinosaur set, attached a black scope and extended the barrel slightly. Here you can see the rebel about to snipe someone. Continue to Chewbacca's weapon, the bowcaster, and Legos actually make two molds for this. One is just the crossbow, and then the other one is a new kind of stud gun. And if they removed the stud, I would have preferred the second one, but now I actually like this better. Continue to the back-to-bomb, and this one is very similar to the flashbang, except it is silver on both sides and a transparent blue in the middle. It looks like this, and it's a nice little cylindrical shape. And here we have the stormtrooper who's going to heal himself. And we're now on the final card weapon, which is the scattergun. And as you can see, it has two barrels, so I use this binocular to get the two barrel effect. And then the sideways magazine is this little claw attachment piece. Here you can see the rebel with his spread gun. Next we have the Dioxis grenade, which throws poisonous gas everywhere, and it's the exact same as the back-to-bomb, except the blue is replaced with red. And I actually like this better because it looks cooler than the blue one. And here, this is a sort of blurry photo, sorry. Next we have scout binoculars, so basically just the normal stars binoculars. And since Lego already made a mold for this, and I really like this because it like wraps around the person's head, as you can see on the Imperial officer. Another grenade, we have the shock grenade, which shoots electricity, of course. As you can see, it has a silver part in the center, so we just had two dark gray pieces and then a silver part in the center, like so. And I thought, change of pace, I'll have a rebel hold the grenade this time instead of a stormtrooper. Now this isn't a grenade or a weapon, this is a medical droid. And this is definitely the most pieces for one of the builds. And it has the little arm and all the little gray pieces to symbolize the folded away arms. And here you can see it tending to the injured stormtrooper. We move on to the laser trip mine, and I had quite a bit of difficulty trying to get that triangle shape, but I just used a corner, and then with some creative like moving around, I managed to attach it to a circle and got the general shape. And here you can see a rebel ready to plant the mine. Finish our final gadget and the final grenade with the sonic imploder. It's the exact same as the Dioxis, except the silver is replaced with black, which looks even cooler than the silver, I gotta say. And here is the stormtrooper going to sonic implode some people. And finally the Stinger pistol, since I sort of wanted to include it. It's just the normal Lego pistol in gray, and here you can see our trusted Imperial officer wielding it. Well guys, that was it. Comment below if you liked my designs, or even if you didn't like, or if you think I should improve in some way. Feel free to comment below. I'll try and respond as soon as I can.